G'day guys, Chronicles of Solid here. Welcome back to the garage. As you can see, I've got the bike in front of me and it's set up for adventure, and that's because soon we'll be doing the Holland Track. Now if you're not familiar, this is a little booklet. The Holland Track is a track that goes from Broome Hill to Coolgardie, and it was made by John Holland back in the late 19th century, I believe, 1890s thereabouts. And it's a pretty popular off-road track for Western Australians. It's often on a West Aussie bucket list, and it's been on mine for a long time, so I'm really looking forward to it. So let's get into all the mods, accessories and the GPS tracks that I'm taking. Alright. Okay, so before we go inside guys, I just thought I'd go through all the accessories and the bits and bobs I've attached to the bike for this bigger adventure trip. Now you know in the past that I used a self-inflating mattress. It was quite large and quite heavy, and it wasn't very warm. It only had a R value of 1 or something like that. It was very low, so I've since gone for a much smaller inflatable mattress with an R value of 5. It's much lighter, packs a lot smaller, and it saves a lot more space in my pack. So I'm really looking forward to using this on the trip. Now you know I've used this in the past for fuel. It's just a little 2-litre jerry can. Even though I've got a bigger tank recently, this one I've just attached, and it's good for about 400 kilometers. It's about 18 litres. I'm taking 2 of these 2 litres to give me an extra 80 kilometers thereabouts, just in case, because there is a stretch we're doing that's 400 plus kilometers, so we don't know what terrain we're going to kind of come up against. So if I'm hard on the throttle all day, this thing will chew a bit more fuel than usual. You can also notice here I've got the air hawk attached like last time. I've got the bags up here because I'm going on a trial run in a couple of days, but also just here you can see I've attached just under the seat here a 12 volt power supply. The reason being is this is going to be a 4 to 5 day trip, so I'm going to need some way to charge all my power banks so I can charge all the cameras, the phone, and you know, all the crap that comes with living in the 21st century. So that's been another modification. So as well as the 12 volt, you know there's a vacant space here on the poor little WR where I usually have this guy. Now you guys who've been following me for a while, that's pretty much how everyone recognizes me. I have a bright yellow box on the back here for all my tools and stuff. But in the last couple of adventures I had a problem where I had my duffel bag, and because the tool pack was here, I had put the duffel bag about here, which means I'm squished up on the seat, which wasn't a problem with day rides because I only have a small backpack, but on the bigger rides I have a 3-litre hydration pack, and it's quite large, so I didn't have enough room for me and my backpack on the seat. So I've removed the toolbox and I've just gone for a simple tool roll, and it's now sitting in my pannier. So I've tested it already and I have a lot more space. I can fit my backpack on. It's much more comfortable. Obviously for the day rides I'll chuck the yellow box back on because it's quite good. Now I'll go into this particular accessory in more detail once I get back. The IMS 18-litre petrol tank for the WR. I previously had the Safari, which is about 13.5 litres when it's stretched. So I'll go into a specific video and compare them later. But I've added the bigger tank to give me more range, just because I prefer holding more of the petrol in the petrol tank rather than having to squeeze it in the panniers. It keeps the weight down lower, and it's just a peace of mind knowing that I can fill this up and I have 400 kilometers of range. I quite like the look of it, and yeah, it's going to be an integral part to getting through the Holland Track for me, so I'm looking forward to giving this a really good road test. So those are the basic accessories I'm going with. I've put on the bigger tank, I've removed the top box and put it in a tool roll. I've got the little 12 volt on here, and I have a much smaller mattress which gives me more room to pack other crap for the trip. So that about sums up all the accessories. Let's get into the computer room and go through all the tracks and where we're going and how we're getting there and how far it is. So just for reference, guys, Perth is over here and Fremantle's just over there. We'll be meeting around here and cutting through the state forest. This is day one that you see this yellow line. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll notice I did a trip to Yulring with Adventure Rider, Perth Adventure Rider, and that was quite a slog, and that was only to there. Now, I had only just started riding, so I think it was a lot harder because it was just all new to me. But we'll be continuing on all the way to Hyden. Now, you guys familiar with tourist attractions will recognize Hyden as the spot where Wave Rock is situated. They also have a very nice bakery, IGA, and a petrol station, and a campsite. So it's pretty well accommodated, Hyden. It's a nice little town. Now, we'll be continuing on day one once we've filled up with petrol and everything onto the Holland Track here. This is the Hyden Norseman Road, and then we'll duck into the Holland Track. Now, for you guys who don't have off-road vehicles, you can do a section of the Holland Track from here to Broome Hill, which is all nice graded road. But once you get on to the Hyden side to Coolgardie, you need an off-road vehicle. So we'll be camping at Emu Rock. Why? Because it's free and generally there's not too many people, so that's a plus in our books. We'll be continuing up Holland Track to Victoria Rock, where we will camp the second night. And then day 3 will see us duck into Coolgardie. Now, Hyden to Coolgardie is 371 kilometres for those taking notes. We will fuel up, refill our water supplies, our food supplies. There's petrol station, an IGA. I think there's a little cafe and a few little shops. Coolgardie's a pretty small, bare bones town. There's also a campsite there, if that's your thing. Day 3 will see us continue down the lesser travelled Cave Hill Road, and we will camp at Cave Hill, which is just around here, relatively in line with Victoria Rock. And then day 4 will see us hop on the Woodlands Track. So the Woodlands Track is basically the same as a Holland Track. It's just less travelled. There's a few more things to see. It's a little more technical because it's less travelled, and it's just a little bit more of a challenge. So it's kind of upping the ante once more. And following the Cave Hill Woodlands Track route from Coolgardie to Hyden is 425 kilometres for those of you counting at home. So it's quite a distance, and it'll be testing the range of all our bikes, even with fuel bladders and jerry cans. So we'll probably camp at Emu Rock, but if we're a bit on the nose and smelling pretty bad, we might duck into Hyden if they let us in to get a shower and use their amenities. And then it's just a hop, skip and a jump, the 335 Ks back home on day 5, where I will probably get home and fall into a massive coma. So let's get back out in the garage, guys. And that brings this video to a close. If you'd like to subscribe, guys, just hit the big yellow button at the end of the video. I also love to hear your comments. Maybe you got some tips for me for the Holland Track, or you've got an idea for a video you'd like me to do, or you just generally want to ask me a question. Just leave the comments down in the comments section. Hit that like button as always, guys, and I will catch you in the next adventure. See you later.